Hi, welcome to the Corner of Knit and Tea, episode 54. It is Sunday, September 13th. I am Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and all episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop, The Stashbuckler Adventures in Yarn, and we have a Ravelry group called The Corner of Knit and Tea. If you haven't come over to check it out, please do. So hi, how are you? I hope you have had a wonderful week. My knitting mojo seems to have returned, and the last couple days have been delightfully cool, and it's fall weather, and now I want to knit everything. The week was pretty quiet. My boss was out of town this week, and I took some online classes Tuesday and Wednesday, and of course it was a short week for us because we didn't work Monday because of the holiday. So it's been a very nice week, and yesterday my husband was out all day, so I curled up on the couch with some Netflix and all of my knitting and spinning, and I pretty much spent the whole day crafting, which was wonderful. And then today, actually, we are going to the circus. About 4 weeks ago, my husband chatted with me from work one day and said he'd seen a flyer about a circus that weekend and wondered if I wanted to go because he'd never been to the circus. And as it turned out, we couldn't go to that one. That one was out further into Missouri, which is a little further away for us, and it was on a Friday evening at 5 o'clock. So getting there would have meant traffic and leaving work early. But I went ahead and looked up when there might be another circus in town, and as it turns out, Ringling Brothers, which is one of the big circus outfits here in the U.S., was coming to Kansas City just a few weeks later. So we are going today. And actually, it's a new experience for me. I went to the circus once when I was a kid, and I went, it was the whole experience in the tent with bleachers. And today it's at our local arena. So I've never actually been somewhere where you're inside and air conditioned in seats. And like I said, I don't know how he missed it when he was a kid, but this will be my husband's first circus, and he keeps asking me all kinds of questions about what will be there and what we'll see and whether there'll be food. And I mean, I don't know for sure, but I can guess. Anyway, so that's our little adventure for this afternoon. So it's about 9 o'clock in the morning, which is a little early for me, but I am up and at 'em and here to show you a few things and also to do a review of a yarn that I received. So let's get right to it. Today's tea is something that it's a sample from David's. It's called Strawberry Colada, and actually I wish I had read the package before because I might have saved it for a different day. The package actually says, "This sweet and fruity mix of strawberries, pineapple, and coconut is straight out of a retro cocktail menu. Try it over crushed ice with a splash of rum." So I missed that one. The ingredients are hibiscus, rosehip shells, apple, pineapple, coconut, strawberry, and some natural flavoring. So that is Strawberry Colada from David's Teas, and it smells amazing. And I am drinking it in my favorite Kansas mug. This is from the desk of Toto. It says, "Dear Dorothy, hate Oz, took the shoes, find your own way home, Toto." It's a little Kansas humor. So, like I said, David's Strawberry Colada in my Toto mug. Ooh, that is really delicious, and actually it probably really would be good with a splash of rum in it. Maybe spiced rum? Ooh. But it's really good hot, too. It's very sweet, light strawberry and hibiscus I get, and a lot of the coconut. And there were big chunks of coconut in it. So, yes, I would definitely recommend that. All the links will be in the show notes. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I am going to start with my review because it is my finished object. Let's see, about a month and a half ago, the folks at Stitchcraft Marketing and A Good Yarn, which is a yarn store in Sarasota, Florida, kindly sent me a skein of yarn. which is one of their exclusive colorways. It is, and I found the label, it was inside the ball. It is, Lorna's Laces does do some exclusive dyeing. So it was Lorna's Laces, and it is their shepherd sock base, which is superwash merino wool and nylon, approximately 430 yards, and it is in the colorway Cabbage Key, which is exclusive to A Good Yarn Sarasota. And if you watched my podcast 2 podcasts ago, I talked about how the husband of the owner of A Good Yarn is a diver in Florida, and he takes, and I guess other places as well, and he takes beautiful, beautiful underwater photos that they use for inspiration for their exclusive colorways. And they have a large number of exclusive colorways, not all of which are through Lorna's Laces. They are other bases and kinds. But the one that they sent me was Cabbage Key on the Lorna Laces base, and I decided to knit socks. I decided to knit the Monkey Socks by Cookie A, which is a free pattern. It was one of her original contributions to Knitty, and I finished my socks. So this is kind of crazy colored yarn, although as it turns out, it's striped. I didn't know that going in, but I decided I wanted to do something to kind of break it up so that I wouldn't have too much pooling. I got a little bit of pooling near the heels, but that is totally fair game because it is different numbers of stitches, and so you can't expect that when you add a whole bunch of stitches to a sock that it's going to actually work out perfectly. So I'm calling these my Sea Monkeys, and like I said, this is the exclusive colorway, Cabbage Key. My review is that I have used Lorna's Laces shepherd sock before, and I have found it incredibly durable. I have a pair of socks, one of the first probably 3 or 4 pairs of socks that I knit, and I knit it in Lorna's Laces shepherd sock, and they show no wear. And I wear them decently often, and wash them decently often, and they have not shown any wear in the, well, I've been here for 7.5 years, and I knit them probably a year or 2 before that, so we're probably talking close to 10 years. And so I find the base to be incredibly durable, and I have no reason to believe that these won't be incredibly durable socks, which will last me for a good long time to come. The yarn itself is very nice to knit with. I found it just a little bit splitty, but I was using my signatures, US 2.25, US 1s, 2.25, and those are super, super sharp tips. And so I sometimes find that splits the yarn, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily really a fault of the yarn. I will say I was a little disappointed. I did find 1 knot in the ball of yarn, but industry standard is up to 2. So while I was a little disappointed to find one, I can't say that that means bad things about the yarn because that is perfectly acceptable. So the yarn is beautiful, bright, colorful. I absolutely love these socks and can't wait for cooler temperatures so I can start wearing all of my socks again. And I just want to say thank you to the folks at Stitchcraft Marketing and also A Good Yarn Sarasota for sending me a skein of yarn. It was free for me to knit and show you and do a little bit of a review. So like I said, it's an exclusive colorway for them. You can get it online. There will be links in my show notes, and you should also check out some of their other exclusive colorways. I had a little peek through, and there are 3 or 4 that I would just love to buy, so I may have to go back and do that. So that is my finished object for this week and a little bit of a review, and I hope you enjoyed that. So let's go on to my whips. As I said last week, I told you that I wanted to get started on some hats for Roxy. I showed you some hand spun, and what happened is that I cast on with the hand spun, and I did not like the fabric that it was giving me. And I tried a couple different needle sizes, and I just wasn't super pleased with it. So I pulled that out, and I will save that to use for something different. And instead, I decided to go ahead and still cast on Tubi, which is a hat by Woolly Wormhead in her Wee Woolly Toppers book. And I decided to use some leftover yarn that I had from a sweater that I knit that I had actually been saving to make something for Roxy. It's going to be a little hard to tell, I think. Let me see if I can, ooh, that's a little bit better. It is, it's the yarn that I used for my Porphyra sweater. It's Miss Babs Yowza in the Tulipa colorway. It is a very, very, very dark purple. And I thought that would be sweet for Roxy. And I cast on and knit a little bit yesterday. And as you can see, it's just knit in the round, and then it's got these welts. So, and I didn't want to say too much more because it is a paid for pattern, but I am planning on taking this with me to the circus today. Sorry, my hair gets into everything. I'm planning on taking this with me to the circus today and hopefully finishing this off. And then actually I have another small ball as well. So if I finish this ball of yarn, I am going to try and make her some matching mittens. So, and that will be Roxy's first winter set. I'm hoping to get 2 or 3 done in time to send them up for her birthday, which is the end of October, because it will start to get cool. So again, that is the beginnings of Tubi by Woolly Wormhead and in Miss Babs Yowza in the Tulipa colorway. I keep trying to get closer. That is actually a pretty good representation of it. It's a dark, dark purple. So that is the first work in progress. The second work in progress is a bit of an addiction. I showed you last week that I had started a sock blanket, and actually it's not a sock blanket, it is a worsted weight blanket. I'm using all of my leftover DK worsted. I'm using some fingering doubled and some hand spun. And I showed you I had 6 squares last week when we talked, and now I have 20. So, like I said, it has been a bit of a week, and I have been very excited to play around with that. So last week I had these 6 done down here at the bottom, and I have since added quite a few. So I will, well, let's see. I'll just go across the top here. This is some hand spun, although it's not some of mine. It was something that I got in a swap, and it is by a dyer who I don't believe is dyeing anymore. This is Maud and Me, and the colorway is Northwest Apartment. This is left over from my Revell cardigan, which was a sweater that I knit for Nanny Swaymo 2 years ago, and it is DK weight from Madeline Tosh in the Jasper colorway. This is left over from a cardigan that I knit Roxy. It was a baby Kina, and this is 3 Irish girls, and I don't remember the weight, but the colorway is Starlet. This one you have seen before. It is Woolmize Pure in the Hortense colorway, and I used that in the color work on my sweater. I also used it in a shipwreck shawl that I knit, and a couple other things. And this is from one of my first pairs of socks. This is Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock medium weight in Jewel of the Nile colorway. This is, ooh, I forgot to look up the color on this one, and I'm only thinking about that because I just realized that I never did look it up. I've been tracking these in Ravelry. This is Dreamin' Color. It's Everlasting, which is a DK weight, and I cannot remember what the color is, but I used it to knit my nephew a hat, and I've knit something else with it too, and I still have quite a bit of it left. I'm really, really surprised. So yeah. This is Hedgehog Fibers. I held it doubled. It is her sock weight in the teacup colorway. I used that to knit the Alma shawl earlier this year. This is Woolmize Pure. It is doubled, and it is in the fuchsia colorway, which is what I just used for my sweater, the sweater I just finished. This is Madeline Tosh, Tosh Merino Light. I held it doubled, and it is in the Turn colorway. And then let's see what else. This is my own hand spun. This is Southern Cross Fiber. I held it doubled because it was fingering weight. It's in the colorway Tandoori Spice, and I used it to knit some mittens. This is a Madeline Tosh DK weight in the colorway Firewood. Might be vintage, might be worsted weight. In the colorway Firewood, I used it to knit a cardigan. This is 2F by hand. I can't remember if I showed you this one. This is 2F by hand in the Calaveras colorway. I'm pretty sure I showed you that one. So we'll skip back over here. This is Huckleberry Knits Cascara MCN in the Lady Mary colorway, a Downton Abbey colorway, and I knit Roxy a hat out of that. And finally, this is Madeline Tosh DK in the Nebula colorway, which is a dark, dark teal with splashes of black. So that is my 20 square blanket. I actually added 6 squares yesterday while I was sitting at home. I didn't make myself do chores for that. I just really, really wanted to work on it because blanket madness is going on this week from the 12th, which is yesterday, through the 18th, which I guess would be Friday? Or is it Thursday? This week is Blanket Madness. It is started by Wool Diaries, which is Sally Trollope, and also Pink Hair Girl Knits. Sally Jane Cameron of the Pink Hair Girl Knits podcast. And basically, the goal is to knit as many blanket squares as you can this week. And there are no prizes. It's just really for bragging rights of how many squares you knit. But I decided I wanted to participate this time. So I'm going to work on Roxy's hat and then continue to add to my blanket. And I already have, I said earlier that I was working, I want to move out geometrically in the square progression. So I already have my 5 colors picked to go along this edge. So by the time I see you next, I should have quite a few more squares to talk about. And pretty soon this is going to get unwieldy. It's like the perfect little lap size right now, and not even like a lap blanket, just lap size. But yeah, it's going to get unwieldy pretty fast, but I'm also pretty excited because one of the things with the little blanket is that I didn't see much progress very quickly. And this, I would say these squares are probably between 3 and 4 inches on a side. So I'm seeing progress fairly quickly, which is kind of fun. Just plotting what comes next. So that is my work in progress. So let's move to spinning. Last week I showed you a braid of fiber at Hello Yarn. It was beautiful teals and greens and yellows and kind of a navy with a violet color, and I finished it. This is a probably sport to fingering weight. My guess is around 300 yards, maybe a little bit more. It is still a little damp, but I'm really pleased with what I got. It's kind of sea colored to me, actually. It looks like seawater and then kind of dark depths of things that are in there. And the yellow, sort of like maybe seashells or sand. So I really think this is like a watery color. And this will be going up in the shop. Again, this was Romney, so it's not super soft, but it should be pretty sturdy. I think it would make a great pair of socks. So this will be going up in the shop later today or tomorrow, and I will post a photo on Instagram when that happens. So that means it's time for me to pick my next spin, and I went through my fibers and decided I needed some bright color. So I selected a braid of 2F by hand fiber. This is Superwash Merino in the colorway I'm Sorry. And this braid is amazing. It is pinks and reds and blues and a little turquoise and some pops of orange, and I am super excited about it. And I think this is going to make a super fun braid to spin. It is Superwash Merino, so if I spin it thin enough, it could be socks or it could be a shawl. And this is destined for the shop. So it will, hopefully I'll have it to show you next weekend, and then it will be up in the shop. So that finishes my podcast for today. I know it was a little bit short considering there was a review, but I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for spending some time with me today. And definitely head on over to A Good Yarn Sarasota. The link will be in the show notes, and check out their exclusive colorways because they are quite fun. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will say, as I always do, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye!